Love in uncertainty. I never believed in love stories. At least, not the kind where fate plays a part. But I guess life had other plans for me. It started on a cold November evening. I was working a long shift at the hospital, exhausted, barely keeping up. I had just stepped outside for a quick break when I saw him. Daniel. He was sitting on the hospital bench, shivering, staring at the ground like the world had given up on him. I don't know why, but I walked over. "Are you okay?" I asked. He looked up, surprised that someone even noticed him. "Yeah, just thinking." His voice was rough, but there was something in his eyes, something tired yet kind. I offered him my coffee, and we sat there in silence, two strangers sharing a moment in the middle of a cold, busy world. That was it. No sparks, no sudden realizations, just a quiet moment that stayed with me. The second meeting. A week later, I saw him again. This time, at a small bookstore near my apartment. He was flipping through an old poetry book, completely lost in it. I hesitated, then walked up to him. "You like poetry?" I asked, pretending it was casual. He smiled, that same tired yet warm smile. Sometimes, when life feels too heavy, we talked about books, about life, about how he had been looking for a job for months, but kept getting rejected. "People don't hire a man who's been out of work for too long," he joked, but I could hear the pain beneath it. When I was leaving, he hesitated before saying, "Hey, I know this is random, but would it be weird if we exchanged numbers?" It wasn't weird. It was the easiest yes I had ever said. The love that followed. We started texting, then calling, then meeting for coffee. He would tell me about his dreams, how he wanted to be a writer, how he had stories inside him but never the courage to write them. And I told him about my job, about the patients who stayed with me, about the nights when I cried in my car before going home. "You're too soft-hearted for this world," he said one night. "You carry too much." And maybe he was right. But he carried his own weight too, the weight of rejection, of feeling like he wasn't enough. One night, we sat on the rooftop of my apartment, wrapped in a single blanket, watching the city lights. "If you could have one thing in life," I asked, "just one thing, what would it be?" He thought for a moment, then looked at me. "To be someone worth loving." I didn't tell him then, but he already was. The obstacle. Love isn't just soft moments and whispered words. It's also struggle, fear, and doubt. One day, Daniel got a call for a job interview. Finally, a chance to rebuild his life. He was excited, nervous. "What if I mess it up?" he asked. "What if I stay stuck like this forever?" I held his face, looked him in the eyes. "Then we'll figure out together." But things changed after he got the job. He started pulling away, canceling plans, answering texts late. I could feel it. The distance growing, the warmth fading. One night, when I asked what was wrong, he sighed. "I don't want you to feel responsible for me anymore." It hurt, because I never saw him as a burden. But he had spent so long feeling like one that he couldn't unlearn it. The decision. I had a choice, to fight for him or to let him go. And for the first time, I didn't know what love was supposed to do. So, I leave the ending to you. Did I hold on or did I walk away? Because sometimes, love isn't about the perfect ending. Sometimes, it's about the story itself.